Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Game 7, baby. Magic words in the NBA. Got the finals coming to a close after this game on Sunday. I'm going to be taking a look at the matchup data, everything that you need here for Game 7 with the Pacers and the Thunder back in OKC. Since it's the last game of the season, make clear we still have plenty of bets going down in the VIP Discord if you do want to get in on that. Got the WNBA Season Pass rolling right now, so you can get yourself a little discount for the summer, get these WNBA bets, also get some of these MLB bets from the guest cappers that we have in there. But coming off of 3 straight days, or 3 out of 4, I should say, winning in the WNBA, making some money, climbing that ladder to the profit. And we also have won 2 of the last NBA Finals games here. Game 5 and Game 6 both made some pretty good money up in the playoffs. So looking to keep it going here. If that all sounds good, give this video a like. Let's get right into it. I've been harping on the difference in the splits here between home and away for OKC now since basically the series started. But I am going to be looking at this specifically through the lens of the finals for the Pacers, because the biggest difference that I wanted to point out to you is that net rating, right? The defensive rating just plummets here when they get on the road against OKC, who has been better at home on offense. We'll look at that one more time in a sec. But it's really the key thing here is the offense doesn't change for Indiana. They've played the same way basically for the whole playoffs. They've been at the same offensive rating home and away. It's the defensive rating that dips when they go on the road in the playoffs, and especially here in the finals. 15 points per 100 possessions better on defense when they're at home. That net rating about a 14 points per 100 possessions difference. That's a really big deal here, and it kind of coincides with the way the Thunder are playing at home versus away. This is all pretty much the same for them throughout the playoffs, and in this series it holds true that they're much better at home on offense, specifically defense also, but much more so on offense here, as that is a really big difference between how good they are at home and away in the playoffs as a whole. And that shooting percentage goes way up. Big part of that going to be guys like Lou Dort, for example. Even Aaron Wiggins at times have been better at home, the bench players is what I'm getting at here, than the role players. So we're going to have to keep that in consideration. I mean, it's Game 7, so I don't want to just harp on all these preseason or regular season stats, even regular playoff game stats. This is not a regular playoff game. This isn't even a regular finals game. So things are going to tighten up. I'd be a little bit careful on the overs. And I just want to run through this matchup with you again. Nothing to really change from what we've talked about if you've been watching them for the whole finals here. We're going to have Halliburton in there. No need to look at how players do with or without him. I'd be careful on his props again. I'm going to talk about the minutes projection that I have for him, but we know that the matchups are going to be the same here on defense on both sides of the ball. Hartenstein, assuming that he starts once again, which he has been on Siakam. We'll see. Dagnall could switch it up and give us case on Wallace. There's going to be a lot of different rotations. If something's not working, new guys are going to get in for sure, especially for that OKC team, which has definitely gone to different guys in different games. Getting right into these player props. If you do want to get in on this platform I'm using as I share my screen, showing you propsmadness.com. Link is in the description of the video. And if you use code LYB, that will get you 25% off your first month. Also gets you a 7-day free trial to see if you want to jump in and get in with Props Madness. Super helpful for the ladies game if you're going to be betting on the WNBA this summer. But looking at the first player on the list here, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And my favorite bet here is, once again, honestly, PRA under. I don't think that he's going to be in line for 43.5, and we actually are getting 44.5 on a bunch of these books. And it kind of seems like it might spill even into 45.5, which is going to keep being an under for me. I did get a little bit cute in a couple games ago, took 30 plus points with under 44 or 45.5 PRA for SGA. I'm going to sprinkle on that again, but I got to get that at plus 350 or better, at least 3-1 on my money. I'm not playing this for even plus 280. And last game, they weren't giving us great number on under on the PRA combined with the 30 plus points, which is a good way to look at him not getting quite as many points as you think, because 33, 34.5, we're starting to lose me on the points prop here. And then for the RA, I think this is properly priced at 10.5. It is going to the over here, but overall, you take under on the PRA. I think he's not getting to that number, which he has not done very consistently in the playoffs. And we're talking about him still getting 30 plus points, doing this a handful of times. So I still like Shai to take over on offense as much as he can with the points specifically. But as far as the PRA goes, this would, if you're playing a single bet for SGA, I'd be going under on the PRA and then a little sprinkle, combining it with 30 plus points. For J-Dub, still looking at the same stuff here for our guy. I think it's the Q1 stuff. Now, I will point out, and I'm hyper aware, that in this last game, he played 8 minutes in the first quarter. And in the prior 2 games, part of the reason why we liked him in the first quarter was he was getting double-digit minutes, 10 and 11. 8 doesn't really tickle my fancy very much, but he still had a pretty high usage. 6 shots, in 8 minutes. And now we're talking about on the rebounds, he also had that as well. And I like the Q1 rebounds for our guy who has done that every game in this series and dating all the way back to the final game of the series versus Minnesota. He's been getting boards in the first quarter, and we're getting plus 140 for him to get 2 of them. As long as you have access to some of these books, I would make sure you can get these first quarter bets in for J-Dub. These have been a wagon, and I like them. If you wanted to play a full game bet for him, PR, I don't like the assist, and I've been saying that for a while now in this series. When he started taking over here in game 3, right, and really started to play better, the points are what really did it for him, right? If you look at that as we bring it up, 26, 27, and 40, the assists still not even really there for him if you look at the potential assists. 7 potential assists game 3, 8 in game 4, and 8 in game 5, and then just 4 potential assists in this last game, but we're kind of tossing game 6 out because obviously the Thunder kind of threw the white flag up a little bit early. I like the board still. We're still getting rebound chances, even in this game, 27 minutes. All right. I mean, once again, throw that out the window, but double-digit rebound chances in 3 of the last 4, including 16 in that game 2. And even in game 1, still had 8, right, and didn't play very well overall. But the boards have been there for him, especially the first quarter boards. Now, if you're playing the whole game stuff here, points and rebounds are where I stay with him. I don't think the assists are going to be as big, but I think the minutes got to be, well above, it should be at 40 plus for him. Let's put it that way. I don't want to say well above. I'm not saying he's playing the whole game, but it's game 7. So SGA and him should be projected here for some pretty big minutes and in the 40s for sure. Probably the same for a couple of the important guys on the Pacers, but let's finish up the Thunder props here first. I'm not really touching much with Chet if it's not rebounds. He's at 9.5, and we're not getting great odds there. We can still get about even money for him to be the leading rebounder. That's going to be available on 3 to 4 different books here that you're going to find where it's the leading rebounder in the game is Chet Holmgren. And look, last game, 6 boards, 10 rebound chances, was still leading the game in rebounds at the half with 5, and his only biggest threat at that point was TJ McConnell. Then all of a sudden, Pascal just gobbled up every board. Ended the game with 13. Chet only ended with 24 minutes. But this is still a value bet, big time. Like the Thunder are not going to shoot as poorly as they did in game 6. I would expect them to be closer to their normal averages rather than how absolutely terrible they were, barely made a 3. Chet was a big part of that. But the rebounds are going to be a little bit more there for them than the Pacers, in my opinion, in this one. A few more missed shots from the Pacers, a few less missed shots for OKC. That should mean a few more boards for Chet. Other than that, we've been loving the under on the assists, and they won't even give it to us in some places. And if you do want to take under on the assists here for him, under 1.5, you're going into the minus 250. So not really worth it for me anymore. But the under assists have been a great play. He's barely ever gotten even 2 potentials, much less 2 assists in this series. Just not available for us. And the only thing I like here is the rebounds. Our boy has been putrid from 3, especially 0 for 3 last game, 2 for 9 from the field. Just not really putting the ball in the bucket from far, and they're not giving him nearly as much down low as they are letting him shoot from afar. Don't want to touch it, the points or the assists even this game. The rebounds, I think, is the best way to just attack Chet, and the best way to get the odds for him is to take the rebound leader for the whole game. These are the only other 2 guys I'd be looking and considering an over for. It's Caruso and Dort, but rather than go with a Caruso bet, I've told you guys multiple times, he impacts the game in different ways, and he has to shoot a really good percentage from the field in order to get his points, right? Even when he got these the 20 points here, he went 7 for 9 from the field, 5 for 7 from the free throw line. 9 shots is not enough for me to feel really comfortable for with a guy even getting 9 points all the time, right? So I don't know that he's going to get more than 7 to 8 shots up in general. He does get involved in other ways, but he's not even really getting assists. When you look at the passes made for him, he's last game 25 passes made, 4 potential assists. Prior game 45 passes made and just 2 potential assists. So just because he's involved in the passing game doesn't really mean he's involved in getting guys open for shots, right? He's not getting potential assists. He's just getting regular passes as a connector within the offense to keep the ball moving. So I don't really like much for Caruso, based on where his props are listed. But we got to go back to home Dort, right? Like I think the best way to play him is if you can still get minus 150 on the threes. I play this up to minus 160. I know it's not great. A lot of you are going to want to play 3+ threes for him. I'm fine with it. But I got one more NBA game to bet on here for a while. I would just like to get a W. So even though this is only going to get me back like $65 if you bet 100 on it, right, on the 2 threes, this is something we can bank on happening at home. As we know, the splits for him in the playoffs at home versus on the road, 2.8 threes made at home, 1.3 threes made on the road in the playoffs. And we're back at home for Lou Dort. So I do think he's going to get the shots up, and I do like the points for him. Isaiah Hartenstein, Wiggins, Kason Wallace, even Kenrich Williams, I just can't bank on the minutes for them. Maybe if you think there's a blowout, but this isn't about participation anymore. This is if you're not performing, you're coming out. So for the bench guys, for the Thunder, I don't feel as comfortable betting on the bench guys here when I can't project their minutes very well. But again, everyone else that I've talked about here, the starters, including Dort, that would be where I'd be going to the over. Minutes going to tighten up here in Game 7. Jumping into the Pacers stuff, go ahead and give this video a like if you're getting anything out of what we're doing here with our finals game of the season in this NBA season. But let's get into this Pacers squad. And Pascal's the same cap that I had last time, which is, yes, I think he's in line for usage. Yes, I think he's in line for a good game. But these props have gotten very high. 20.5 points for him is fair. It's where it should be. Yes, I think he's in line for at least 38 minutes, let's say. Like, I think he's got to get back up there to the mid to high 30s at least. But it doesn't matter. Even when he's playing that amount of minutes, he's still at about 20, 21 points per game in those situations. The boards back up to 7.5. Lost the value, in my opinion. Also, don't think that he's going to be at the rebound chances he was. 18 in this last game. When you consider how bad OKC was from the field, that led to a ton of rebound opportunities. And like I said, he didn't even have that many at the half. Chet still had more than him at the half, and then he went off for like 9 rebounds in the second half there for Pascal, as OKC didn't score for like the first 4 or 5 minutes of the third quarter. So that led to a lot of rebounding chances for him. Other than that, I can't really bank on much for him to the over. 1.5 threes. It was good when Hartenstein starts. If Kayson Wallace is out there and Jalen Williams is guarding Pascal Siakam, he's not getting the threes up. But in these 2 games right here where he got the threes, guess who started for the Thunder? Isaiah Hartenstein. Guess who guarded him on the Thunder? Isaiah Hartenstein. So when it's Isaiah Hartenstein out there in the double bigs for OKC, then you've got some good stuff here for the threes for Pascal, even the assists for Pascal. But even in this last game, he got 6 potentials, played slightly fewer minutes, but still, without Hartenstein guarding him, with J-Dub on him, the assists and the threes suffered big time. So nothing really standing out to me as a value play for Siakam in this game. Probably going to have to stay away from him. And then as far as Tyrese goes, same concept. I'd be going back to an under for him. He didn't get it last game, played 23 minutes. I don't know how to cap his minutes in this game, right? I think his ceiling is about 30 minutes. Now, maybe he plays a few more than that, but I don't think they're going to be able to play him for much more than that. This game, he played super well, but he picked his spots really effectively, and everybody else around him played well enough that he didn't have to do quite as much. Plus, the Thunder did not play well, and that really freed things up, kept things open on offense. They didn't have to panic. So it's not going to be the same for Tyrese as it was last game. I'd be going back to an under for him as we have been, especially on the road with about a 30-minute cap, 34 minutes for sure. But how effective is he going to be if he has to play 34 minutes versus the 23 that he played last game? Everything's going to be harder. Just everything's going to be way tougher for this Pacers squad. So I'm probably looking at an under on the points and assists specifically for Tyrese Haliburton in Game 7. Same concept for Miles Turner. His stuff is too low, but I would be going under because I don't feel comfortable with these numbers. I'll probably stay away from Miles Turner, but 18.5 PRA, anything around there is still going to be an under for Turner in this series. It's not a good series, and there's a great saying, shout out Jonathan Sharks. He used to say all the time, the longer a series goes on in the NBA playoffs, the smaller it gets, meaning the smaller that the rotations get and the smaller that the players on the court get, because you don't want a big man who you don't feel comfortable having the ball in his hands, maybe further away from the basket. You need to avoid pressure. You need ball handlers. So other guys who can handle the ball way better than Miles Turner are going to probably be eating into his minutes anyway, right? So let's just skip right over to Obi Toppin, because that's who's going to be eating into his minutes, in my opinion. Now, Obi played 23 in this last game, 23 minutes, and he played 22 in the game before. But the 22 and 23 minutes for him are also kind of predicated on blowouts, like 17-point win in this last one. He's not getting garbage time anymore. I still think he's good for the points, and I still like the rebounds, and I still like putting them together. 15.5 rebounds for him, points and rebounds combined. The assists have not been there for him. He's not in a position against OKC to really be looking to pass quite as much, and they're not really getting out on him enough to force him to have to get the ball out of his hands. He's still able to get a bunch of shots up. The boards he's still getting rebound chances with his minutes. I mean, 10 rebound chances, 23 minutes. Gonna like that for him to get 5 more boards. So I think he's gonna keep getting the PR like he has consistently in this series. Only 2 games he didn't. Had a decently bad game here, I would say, in Game 3 when they were at home. But then this other one, when they got blown out, only played 19 minutes. So as long as he's getting up to 25 plus like he has consistently in this series, love Obi to eat into the minutes and all of the stats here for Miles Turner. So it's an over for Obi, under for Turner. Looking at Nembhard, not going to fade the points, really not going to get the points involved like the RA. The rebounds and assists under once again for Nembhard. Look at the involvement, man. So just starting with the assists, right? The assists have just plummeted for him in this series. Game 1 came out. We thought he was going to look similar to how he has looked because he's played really well against this Oklahoma City Thunder team. If you look at him head-to-head earlier in the season, one of them was without one of them was out a couple guys. He's still Tyrese played in all these games, but 7 assists on 13 potentials, 18 potentials, 7 assists. Those are the regular season games. We thought it might keep looking like that because the cap there was Nembhard is the first pass out of the double team for Halliburton. So when Halliburton gets 2 guys on him, one of the first guys he's looking for is Nembhard. That kind of held true in game 1. Ever since then, Nembhard has been shy when it comes to drives to the rim as well as the dimes. 5 potentials, 3 potentials, 6 potentials, 7, and then 13 in this last game because Tyrese was a little bit more hobbled. I don't expect him to get back up to 13. Then if you look at the boards here, especially on the road, by the way, then if you look at the boards here, yeah, he's had some good rebounding games, but he's getting like well more than 50% of his rebound chances in those games. In the last 3, guarding SGA with all of his might, 0 rebounds, 0 rebound chances. He's basically averaged like 4 rebound chances in his last 3 games against this team. And his whole job out there is guard SGA in full court, right? So I don't like him for anything in this game. I'm going to take him under on the RA. I'm going to leave the points out of it. But I wouldn't be fading the points necessarily if you're going to be looking to fade Nembhard. I think the best way to go under is rebounds and assists combined. Aaron Nesmith is actually good for a bet in this game. When I feel confident that there's going to be ball handlers alongside him, especially Halliburton, then I like the 3s at 1.5. This is just low for a dude hitting 2.7. Actually, in the playoffs, he's at 2.7 per game, right? If we look at him in terms of the attempts in this series, 6 in the last game, 5, and this is in 25 and 25 minutes each of the last 2 games, still getting 5 to 6 threes up. Plays normal third, he's at 5, but he's shot as many as 8, right? 7 to 8 3-point attempts, even 6. If he gets anywhere 6 or more, this is an easy bet each time. This is what we call expected value over time. If you take this even at minus 145 or so for him to get 2 threes, because of the amount that he's taking, because of the amount that he's hitting, like he's over this in 15 to 20. We got to look at this hit rate and just go, yeah, he's going to take the attempts. 2 of them should be good against the Thunder, who are going to be leaving him open more than most people because they don't trust him to score, and they know that they need to press up on other guys. So I think Nesmith's going to be good for, like I said, about 6 attempts, in which case I like him to make 2. And that's the only way I'm going to really be playing him. TJ McConnell, last guy I would consider, but it's steep. It's on the road. I'm not fading him. I'm going to tell you that. But when we talk about points and assists up at 14.5 for him, like last game, I was okay with it because we had the home crowd at his back. They had to win. We knew they were going to come out strong, and he was going to be a big part of that. I don't know if you can bank on that in this game. Now, he might still be in line for 20-plus minutes, in which case, again, not fading him. But this is high in a game 7 where I also know they're going to want their starters out there as much as possible. 22 minutes is a ceiling for him, 24 in that range. Still, like, it's just, I'm moving away from it. It's nothing other than the spot for TJ McConnell isn't nearly as good on the road in this spot here for him to go over. So I'm staying away from him in this final game of the season. And same with Benedict Mathurin and Ben Shepherd. No caps on them, but Benedict Mathurin seems to be in Rick Carlisle's doghouse enough. It's too random. He's Aaron Wiggins from the standpoint of, like, if he gets 22 minutes, great, but he might get 9. And if that's the case, then I just can't trust it. So he's another stay away from me in game 7 here. All right, y'all, great NBA season and postseason. Really appreciate you guys following along, giving that video a like, subscribing so you don't miss any of the content. Going to be coming back with a live. Got to finish the season right with a live show for you guys. TBD on the time, but we're going to be getting that up tomorrow afternoon before the game goes live. Going to be coming back with the NBA next year as well, as you know, and then going to have everything you need this summer with the WNBA. Got the MLB in there as well with the guest cappers. Hope to see you guys in there. Link in the description of the video. Until I see you next, happy betting.